You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And be sure to smash that like button. All right, LSU beats Oklahoma. And post-game press conferences are usually pretty benign. You get asked the generic questions. You answer the generic questions with coach speak, etc. You hope to pluck something of consequence out of it. Brian Kelly on Saturday did much more than that, however. To finish his opening statement, again, to give you context, it was not a leading question. Nobody has clipped this and taken it out of context. Brian Kelly, in his opening statement after the Oklahoma game, said this.
Whatever camp you want to jump into, go right ahead. We had 5 freshmen and 2 sophomores on defense today playing their tails off. So, again, we're taking receipts, and, we'll see you at the national championship. This team's building. We're excited about them, and we're really proud of them.
So, we're taking receipts. We'll see you at the national championship. By the way, Glenn Guilbeau asked a follow-up when he said, so when you said we'll see you at the national championship, are you talking about next year? Try to box him into a corner on the time frame. Like, are you predicting this for next year? And Brian Kelly gave about a 2-minute long, real elaborative answer. And he didn't give a time frame, but he did double down on the we'll see you in the national championship.
Listen, here's my point. The standard is the standard here, right? The standard, I didn't come down here to go 8-4. I'm not happy about 8-4, okay? Nobody in that room's happy about being 8-4. What they're happy about is they've played well after a 3-game losing streak, and they bounce back. And this game teaches you lessons about grit and toughness and perseverance and not giving up and letting go of the rope, right? They easily could have fractured. Right? Instead, they stuck together and they stayed committed, and they beat 2 teams that were really good football teams in this league and have pelts to show that they are good teams, right? We're not making that narrative up. So at the end of the day, we want to win every game we play. And the standard at LSU and at Alabama, they're not happy with 3 losses at Alabama. Georgia's not happy with 2 losses. Nobody's happy when they lose a game. But what I'm happy about in the short term is the way our guys responded to adversity. That's why I came in here and said I'm proud of our football team and the way they responded to adversity.
By the way, that wasn't the end of the answer. Like I told you, about a 2-minute answer, but here's the end where he doubles down on the national championship.
Big picture is I'm excited about our future regardless of what people seem to think. And that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinions, but nobody knows what it looks like from the inside. I've got the best perspective of that. And you can write away and have your own opinions, and that's fine. That's why you guys have a pulpit to do that. I have a better perspective of it. I don't listen to what you have to say, and we're going to build it the way we know that we're going to build it, and I'll see you in the national championship game.
So he said it again. He was smart and very adept not to get boxed into a time frame. But he doubled down on we'll see at the national championship game. Now, first of all, that's not unrealistic. Okay, Brian Kelly brought Notre Dame to a BCS national championship game. And he had Notre Dame twice in the 14 college football playoff. So for Brian Kelly to say, I'll see you at the national championship, isn't exactly like this giant stretch. It's not like Curt Cignetti going into Indiana day 1 saying, Google me, because he won games at James Madison. Like, that's bold. He went to a school that ain't won nothing in 100 years. And it says, Google me. And by the way, year 1, he's got them 11-1, and they're going to be in the playoff. Like, respect, bro. It's different when you're talking about one of the winningest coaches in the history of college football that's been to a national championship game and 2 playoffs. Also, it's why he left Notre Dame. He said it the day he was hired. He left Notre Dame because he felt like he was bumping up against a glass ceiling of what that academic institution would allow him to recruit. You can put together great teams that can get to a playoff. Can you win when you're there and you run up against Alabama or Georgia or Clemson at the time? And his answer was no. And meanwhile, he's looking at LSU going, the talent in that state where Les Miles and Ed Ogeron won championships, I can do that. It's why he's here. So it's no surprise that he said it. I don't hate that he said it. Now, he knows while he says we're keeping receipts, everybody else is keeping receipts too, because people love to pin Brian Kelly against the wall when they have the opportunity to do so. The real question is, how can you get there? And I'll tell you, there's three things. Number one is returning players. You want to get there in 25? It starts with retention of this roster. Garrett Nussmeier. If Garrett Nussmeier returns, you will return the best quarterback in the SEC next year. I don't know that there's an argument. Arch Manning, high ceiling, certainly. If Lenora Sellers figures out how to complete a forward pass, maybe. But Garrett Nussmeier is about to polish off the second greatest passing season in LSU football history. If he comes back, you have the best quarterback in the league returning. I said, by the way, I said the same thing about Jaden Daniels in 2023. And you could say, well, that wasn't a hard prediction. Yeah, go back and remind yourself what most of y'all were saying about Jaden Daniels. When day friggin' one, I sat here and screamed about the reason Brian Kelly brought him in from Arizona State to start. And when he was running for his life against Florida State in that opener, he was the only thing going for you offensively. Revisionist history, we don't have to go down that road. But yeah, I said it for Daniels, I was right, and I'll say it for Nussmeier as well. And there's talks about getting Emory Jones, Mason Taylor back. Brian Kelly's already said he expects, that's fine, I don't need it right now. He expects Aaron Anderson to come back. He expects C.J. Daniels to come back. Chris Hilton, Xavion Thomas could certainly return. Then you look at the youth. Caden Durham's a freshman. Trey'Dez Green's a freshman. Kyle Parker's coming back. That offense, that's a lot to start with. Again, to start with. Then on defense, Whit Weeks is back. West Weeks is back. What if you get Harold Perkins back? Devon Keys started your last two games, had 10 tackles, a TFL, a sack, looks awesome right now. Jacobian Guillory's back for a sixth season. Dom McKinley was unblockable the other night. Ahmad Bro played a ton of football for you this year. JVR Suggs is back. Ashton Stamps will be a 3-year starter. PJ Woodland will be back for his second season. Again, that's just the foundation. That's the foundation for the 2025 roster. So, yeah, that's a really good place to start. But the key is, can you get all those guys back? And I don't know the answer to that. I hope so. But you get all those guys back? Okay. Now you're cooking with grease. And then you add the 25 class to it. That's number two, is this 2025 class. Wednesday is the early signing period. You got 25 guys committed right now. I was told today LSU is really close to flipping a very premier defensive back from another SEC school. I'm not going to tell you the name of the school because I don't know if it's going to happen. Just suffice to say that they are still working here to the 11th hour trying to get as many elite prospects in this class as they can. Get the 25 class that you got committed signed. DJ Pickett was on campus Friday to Sunday. Afterwards, I had a conversation with someone that I trust implicitly who said DJ Pickett continues to say he's 100% LSU. It's all there for him. Can you push it across the finish line? We'll see. We all thought the same thing with Bryce Underwood. I was also told Jakeem Stewart, who didn't make his visit to Ohio State, is internally saying that he's LSU. He might be saying the same thing to USC. I don't know. If he gets a Bryce Underwood bag dropped on him, I expect the kid to go to SC. If not, maybe he ends up in Baton Rouge. That'd be awesome. We'll find out on Wednesday. Retention, finishing the 25 class, and then the portal. Brian Kelly said it. We're under the cap last year. He said, we are going to be aggressive in the portal. Great. I believe him. I believe him. I believe LSU is going to be aggressive in the portal. I believe they fully intend to go be aggressive, to go sign a great portal class, to spend money, to supplement this roster with dudes who are going to be immediate impact guys. I believe him. I believe that's their intent. I also believe their intent was to sign Bryce Underwood and pay him $1.5 million a year. And then what happened? Somebody came and dumped $12 million on that kid, and it didn't work out. Last year, they thought they were going to get Mekhi Wingo and Mason Smith back at $500,000 each. Both left, you whiffed in the portal. Again, execution, the path is very clearly there. If all the things that I just said happen, if LSU gets Garrett Nussmeier, Emory Jones, Mason Taylor, Aaron Anderson, CJ Daniels, Chris Hilton, Xavion Thomas, Caden Durham, Trey'Dez Green, Kyle Parker, Whit Weeks, West Weeks, Harold Perkins, Devon Keys, Jacobian Guillory, Don McKinley, Ahmad Bro, JVR Suggs, Ashton Stamps, PJ Woodland, this 25 class with DJ Pickett, you got 5-star number 1 running back Harlem Berry coming in. If you're able to add Jakeem Stewart, you go finish off this 25 class, and then you go land guys in the portal that they intend to land. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm talking about a team that's preseason top 10 is in everybody's predictions and projections to make the college football playoff. Every single year, when I'm given a preseason projection, I tell you two things. Who has the fewest questions against the most manageable schedule? Those are the two things that I use to determine what a preseason projection I'm going to have. Who has the fewest roster questions against the most manageable schedule? Why did I love Texas this year? A lot of talent returning, easiest schedule in the league. What's Texas doing? Playing in the SEC championship against Georgia, and they're in the playoff regardless. Wasn't that hard of a call. So, LSU gets all them dudes I just said. Damn right I'm going to be sitting here banging that drum. Telling you 25s a year, they better be in the playoff and they can go win the dang thing. But that's a big if. Check with me in a month. Check with me on January the 1st. Oh, and I'll have a really good idea about what LSU is going to be in 2025. If all these players who can go to the draft come back that we're talking about, if Wednesday comes and you ink this class of 2025 and you nail it and you keep DJ Pickett and you get Jakeem Stewart and you flip a defensive back from an SEC school that they're talking about flipping right now, and you go into the portal and you go get an impact safety, you go get an impact defensive lineman, you go get a starter on the offensive line, you go get an impact game-breaking wide receiver like they keep talking about, oh yeah. I will sit here Jan 1 and tell you LSU's a playoff team, and if they're not, they need to run Brian Kelly's ass out of town. I will sit here Jan 1 and tell you that if all those things happen. If those things happen. We live in an age that has never been more unstable in college football. And I'll tell you this much, I know too. There's more guys on this roster right now that are going to enter the transfer portal. That's like saying it's going to rain at some point in the future. Of course they're going to lose more guys in the portal. There are going to be guys on this team that leave for the NFL draft that we think are going to stay. That's going to happen. I don't know who. It's just, I got historical context around this thing. It happens every year. Yes, they're going to sign great players in this class. You might lose more guys. Yes, they're going to add guys in the portal. Absolutely. You're probably going to miss a guy you want to. Ask me Jan 1. Whenever this portal window closes and we have a much better sense of what LSU's 2025 roster is going to look like, then I'll be able to tell you. Then I'll be able to tell you if 2025 college football playoff is realistic for LSU before they ever go for a workout, before they ever snap the ball in spring, before they ever step foot for June workouts, or they ever go into fall camp or take their first snap against Clemson next September. Or it might be August. I don't know the date of that game, but you know what I mean. I can tell you based on what the roster construction is going to be if playoffs are realistic for next year. But I ain't ready to say that today. I love that Brian Kelly's saying, yes, I'll see you at the national championship. And I believe him. That's why they brought him here. And he's proven he can do it. He's proven he can get a team there. He can't break through that glass ceiling. You build a roster the way they can build the 25 roster, he'll crash through that glass ceiling with a rocket ship, brother. If all these things happen. It's a big if. Ask me in a month. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.